Phil, it seems to be a case of almost one step forwards and then dropping back a bit, doesn't it? You had a good win at Needham Market and then couldn't back it up here.
Yeah, I don't think particularly it's one step forward, two steps back, and I don't think for 1 minute that the win at Needham Market was a thought process that we'd cracked it. I think there's still a long way to go with regards to winning games of football at any level. You're trying to finish teams off, you're trying to get into a good vein of form, trying to do the right things on the training ground and in the classroom, as it were, because it's an education program for everybody. I'm learning about the players still, and they're learning about me and my methods and our methods, shall I say. And then I'm trying to analyse the results that we've had and more importantly the performances, I think, of the results. Say for instance you take the two 3-0s and 4-0s that we've had, which are comprehensive victories. You think you're going to move on to a win the next game. It doesn't become that easy. I think I fully respect the league and I fully respect the coaches in this league, and I think they do the homework on us. Does that mean we'll have to change the system or change the personnel week in and week out? I don't think so. I think you've just got to get a good group of players, a good strong group of players, which we have, all pointing in the same direction, all singing from the same hymn sheet, and then taking your moments when they come along. I think at this level, and probably at every level if truth be known, but at this level in particular, I think the first goal is important. I think it's vital. I think the clean sheet mentality that we've got so far in the last couple of games, okay, we never won the game on Tuesday night, but we never conceded, and I think the team last year would have thrown that one away. The team this year is a little bit more akin to what I'm thinking defensively. But the way we're playing, I think after probably 30, maybe even 35 minutes on Tuesday night, I think we were huffing and puffing to a certain extent, not really getting anywhere. And then all of a sudden the floodgates opened with regards to chances. I think we had about four chances just before half time. And with that in mind, we need to get our noses in front against teams that have set up to come and destroy you. They have that right to do that. And we have to actually treat that with respect. And understand that it's a compliment to us, whether it be a backhanded compliment, it doesn't matter, but it's a compliment to us, that people are coming to set up to frustrate. And consequently, we've got to have belief, collective belief in that. And I'm talking about the fans, I'm talking about the hierarchy, I'm talking about the management staff, but more importantly, the players. We've got to have belief that we've got enough in our change room week in and week out to go on a run. I think we're on the verge of something, if truth be known, but it's no use saying that as a manager. You've got to have the results to back that up. So a 3-0 and a 0-0, is that turning a corner? Not really, but the nils are certainly saying to me that we're not at this moment in time missing Alex Pennington, and we're not at this moment in time missing Paul Downing, but we are at the same time. We need a strong squad, we need competition for places, we need people that can put you under pressure, that you have to perform week in and week out to keep your shirt. But again, I'll go back to it. If you take them two players that I've mentioned and then Luke Summerfield and Amari for 6 or 7 games, you're taking big blows in terms of injuries to your changing room. Any change room would suffer, but consequently we've dusted ourselves down, and we've got young players like Cam Candelar's just come in and fitted into 2 clean sheets. And I've said to defenders at this football club when I'm here, if you get a clean sheet, you've got every right to be playing the next game, so you're hanging on to your shirt. And we've got enough doing that at the moment, but at the same time, Saturday's a different argument yet again. And we've had a little sample of that last year, and I think that'll stand me and Macca in good stead, albeit I wasn't in the dugout for the game, I was suspended. But I'll be in the dugout and we'll be going toe-to-toe with the team that want to go toe-to-toe with you. But we've got to, when you've gone toe-to-toe with a team like Peterborough Sports, you've got to have enough about you to wait for them moments and have enough quality in your team to win the game, and I think that we have.
You mentioned against Marine you had 3 or 4 chances before half time, you could have put the game to bed. Same could be said for Guiseley in the Cup, to be honest. You had enough chances there to win a couple of games probably. Is that a concern then, that you're not taking those chances?
I think it would be a level of understanding of your players. I think a lot of people are pointing fingers at Amari Morgan Smith for being a great number 9 at this level but doesn't get enough goals. A lot said for Ashley Hemmings. When Ashley has his moments, he has these surges of 3, 4, 5, 6 goals in a short space of time, and then goes into a negative, 3, 4, 5, 6 games where he doesn't contribute. But it's not all about Ashley Hemmings, and it's not all about Amari Morgan-Smith and Maz Kuya. I've always said that a great team, shall we say, are 11 attackers and 11 defenders. When you haven't got the ball, you've got to be organised, you've got to be resilient, you've got to understand there's a game plan, you've got to understand that the opposition can hurt you, and you've got to understand what the opposition are throwing at you in terms of system or individuals. But then with the ball, it's not just about the strikers not putting the ball in the back of the net. Chances were falling to Brownie, chances were falling to Jack, chances were falling to Maz Kuya in the second half, Ashley Hemmings. I think Amari only had the one chance, but fullbacks are getting forward and providing width and good service. Certainly Rhys Devine and Joe Fawkes in the Needham Market game, and probably Joe Fawkes, who would say, and Caleb Richards again in the game on Tuesday night. So we're all contributing with and without the ball. It's just a case of when these chances come along, I think it's the mentality of the group that they've got to understand, if we're going to be in the playoffs, if we're going to be in a promotion hunt, these chances have got to go in the back of the net eventually, and it is a responsibility of whoever's in front of goal to have the presence of mind to put the ball in the back of the net.
I preface this question by saying there have been exceptions to this, but generally when I've seen in recent times, when you make changes, I mean, presumably as a manager, when you bring someone on, in rugby they call them impact players, for example, you want them to make an impact, and they haven't really in games I've seen recently. I mean, I'd say there's the odd exception, but is that a concern that perhaps you haven't got the quality and depth that you need?
I don't think it's a concern of mine. I think it's understandable that questions like that will be asked when a substitute is made. I suppose the best thing for me to do is not make any substitutions, and then you can't question it. But at the same time, being honest, I've levelled that criticism at individuals, and they've responded. They've responded certainly in training sessions, and I'm taking that into a game. I'm taking that hope that when they do have a chance to impress, that they get off their backsides and do that, quite simply do that, and that's the main part of it. Do I want more competition for places? I think is a roundabout way of asking that question, and absolutely the question, the answer to that is that we're working hard behind the scenes again to try and bolster positions that we now feel a little bit weak or fragile in. As I say, two for each position is normally what I operate at, which causes a lot of headaches for managers, but it's something I would embrace, but that strength and depth of the squad which we had at the start of the season, I've just looked at that injury list and the board to my right hand side in my office, and when you see Paul Downing, Alex Penny, Luke Summerfield, Ben Beresford, I would say Cam Candler, Rhys McNally has stepped up to the plate. So there's your competition for places straight away. David Davies has stepped up to the plate. There's a competition for places. But there's now nobody behind them. So we've got the injury situation. It's not a bottomless pit. I'm not going to go cap in hand to the chairman every time I get an injury. I'm not just going to ask for another player. But that competition for places is a little bit shallow at the moment. But we're looking for maybe even 2, if not 3 players to come in, not before Saturday, but certainly to help us in this, I would have said, very important November.
You mentioned Alex Penny there. Can you clarify, is he carrying an injury at the moment? When we spoke at Needham Market, it was the trip as much as anything, the distance he had to travel. Clearly, you've got to go to Peterborough this weekend, which again is a long trip. Is that a factor, or is he actually carrying an injury at the moment?
No, he's carrying an injury. He's been for an X-ray and a scan, and he has had a problem with a stress fracture, I think 2 years ago. That stress fracture is not reoccurring in the same place, but he's got the same problem to one of his vertebrae in his back. I've thought myself, am I pushing him too hard? You've got a broken leg, you've got a broken back. You start thinking about your training methods, you start thinking about what you're asking them to do, and straight away you get question marks levelled at what you're doing. But I want that commitment. I want people to put their bodies on the line. Whether or not they're not used to it or not, I don't know, but I will continue to ask them to put their bodies on the line. And where Alex is concerned, he's going to have to be almost bedridden for a couple of weeks, if not more. So he'll not be travelling. He'll be going to see the PFA, I think, and going to St George's for a couple of weeks. So that's the plan of attack. I've had specialists, I've had doctors telling me exactly how it is. And when you talk to people like that, and take it further, you know, you talk to people that have played the game, and now families are chasing the PFA and the Football Association and all the hierarchy for impact injuries and head injuries for heading the ball and stuff like that. That's the bigger issue, but bottom line, the health and welfare of your player is of paramount importance to me as a manager. And we will look after Alex Penny as best we possibly can.
Other long-term absentees, you mentioned Paul Downing, Ben Beresford, how are they coming along?
I was buoyed by both of them on the training ground today and working very hard. They'll need a good 2 weeks of that to get up to speed again with the game. But at the same time, I'm saying Ben Beresford's probably a week ahead of Paul. If Ben Beresford continued to do what he's doing, he goes to Blues on Monday, I think, to have retesting. And if that strength level is to the level he was at pre-season, then he might be ticking the box for Blues, but it's a massive tick for us because we know what he's done already. So he might be a little bit closer than Paul Downing, but as I say, the next couple of weeks are going to be vitally important to me, bringing players in first and foremost, or getting players from the treatment room. So it's an important time, it's an important period. The games are going to be coming thick and fast. Everybody's going to be asked to contribute, whether it be on the bench or from the bench, or whether it be in the stand. We're going to need the full squad for sure. But more importantly, we're going to need the first 11 to step up to the plate on Saturday against Peterborough.
Just on Ben Beresford and Paul Downing, could you just clarify, are they sort of training on their own, or are they in full training sessions?
No, they're not full training yet. Not full training. I wish they were. They're working with Dan Ludlow and the physio, and they're at the level where you can measure what they've done from a match perspective, and can you take them to that level on the training ground. But again, it's without a game. It's without the surrounding 22 players if you're playing 11v11. So they're actually running to get to that 11v11. We're not at that stage yet.
And final point, heading into this phase, there's never an unimportant phase of the season, I get that, but between now and the end of November, you've already mentioned there's an awful lot of games to be played. It could, to a degree, not be season defining, but it could go a long way if you have a good run, or on the other hand, if you don't.
I think it will be season defining. I think, I like putting pressure on myself. I like saying there's 8 games, 24 points. Why would you shoot for 21? Why would you shoot for 20? Every game is a winnable game. Every game that we're going into is a winnable match, and that'll include Saturday against Peterborough. But when at this level and at any level that you're playing, when you've won the last one, it's always a nice time to go into a game of football. Your psychology as an individual should be at its peak if you've started that game and played in that game. And as a team, you should be growing in confidence. And at this moment in time, we're growing in the belief that we can keep a clean sheet. If we can keep a clean sheet on Saturday, we will create chances. We've got to now start growing in that belief that these chances are going to come along and we're going to bear fruit.